questions, Mr. Homan?
You got time. You got time.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, President Trump was talking about U.S. troops potentially needing to fight back against drug cartels in Mexico. How serious of an idea is that?
Well, there's a reason the president designated them terrorist organizations, right? The drug cartels have killed more Americans than recognized terrorist organizations before then, right? I mean, they killed more Americans than ISIS or any other terrorist groups. I mean, they've killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. So they're a terrorist organization. We need to treat them like terrorist organizations.
What Alcatraz reopened? President talking about.
Well, we need detention beds, and you know, we do contracts a lot of states, a lot of local municipalities. So that's I think it's certainly an option, especially for the significant public safety threats, national security threats. I mean, should be on the table.
Is the administration looking at countries beyond El Salvador for mass deportation? CBS News has some reporting that there's talks underway with countries in Africa and elsewhere.
There's talks underway with other countries that are willing to take illegal aliens that their own countries won't take them. So we'll find a third safe country to take them. So yeah, there's talks underway.
Do you have any cost estimates on reopening of Alcatraz?
I just answered that. I mean, it's on the table. It should be on the table because we need detention beds, and I think that's an appropriate place for the significant public safety threats, national security threats. Why not? I mean, what's the difference between that?
Do you have an idea how expensive it would be?
I have no idea.
How many countries are you in talks with potentially?
No comment.
What sort of impact do you see it having the self-deportation, offering $1,000 now for legal immigrants to self-deport through the app?
Well, I think you'll have some movement, right? Because I think people are finally getting the message. If you leave on your own, you can take advantage of legal programs, come back. But we have to go through the process of formally deporting you. There are mandatory bars against you for up to 20 years, sometimes forever. So, you know, if you want to take advantage, come back as a worker, a tourist visa, a visitor's visa, a student visa, or have a U.S. citizen child if you have one, petition for you in the future. Leave yourself open to the opportunity of legal entry. Do things the right way. There's millions of people standing in line right now doing things the right way. Taking the test, doing the background investigations, paying their fees. They're sitting in the back seat. While millions of people were allowed into this country under the Biden administration that simply don't qualify for asylum. Most of them will lose that asylum claim. So while they're clogging up the whole system, in addition to those who want to come in legally, while the millions of fraudulent asylum claims under Biden administration, there are people in this world who really are escaping fear and persecution from their homeland. But they're sitting in the back seat too because millions of people cheated the system, come across the border and released in the United States that caused a significant backlog in immigration court. And that wasn't by accident, it's by design. Let's just overwhelm the system so it takes 5, 7, 9 years to go through the whole process if they take advantage of the appeals process. They know exactly what they're doing. That's why they weren't in ICE detention. Because in ICE detention, they get a hearing within 35 days. But for release, millions of the country overwhelm the system so they don't get a hearing in 5, 7, 9 years. Then maybe there's a Democrat administration in power. Now we can have an amnesty. They know exactly what they're doing. They're playing the long game. But we're going to beat them at it. We're going to ramp up interior enforcement operations and removals. We're going to force the law. We're not going to ignore the law like the prior administration did.
The president says he doesn't know what his responsibilities are under Article 5 of the Constitution. Who would it be who would educate him about that? Would it be you?
I think the president is one of the, if not the most knowledgeable president that we've ever had. Look, people can beat on President Trump all you want. President Trump's a game changer. I've worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. I'm a border guy. Even President Clinton and Obama took steps to secure the border because they understood you can't have national security if you don't have border security. No one did more than President Trump during his first administration. We handed the Biden administration the most secure border in my lifetime, and he purposely unsecured it. First president in history of the nation to do that. Look at what President Trump achieved in 8 weeks. He did in 8 weeks what Joe Biden couldn't and wouldn't do in 4 years. We have the most secure border in the history of this nation right now because of President Trump. greatest president of my lifetime. You can quote me on that.
Thank you, Mr. Homan.
Thank you.